Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Glad to be here.
You know, if you're tuning in, you're probably thinking about leveling up your skill set in the AI world.
Makes sense, right?
I mean, it's a pretty smart move considering AI's impact is only growing.
And quickly.
Exactly. And that's why we're diving deep into the AI skills you absolutely need to master to stay ahead of the curve in 2025.
Consider this your cheat sheet.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, even if you're not a coder, understanding the core concepts can be a major asset.
Because AI is becoming so integral to almost every field you can imagine.
It really is, and those who get it are going to have a serious advantage.
No doubt.
All right, let's unpack this, starting with the foundation, the cornerstone of it all.
Machine learning, or ML.
Yeah, ML, you probably heard the term, but it's way more than just a buzzword, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it this way. You feed a ton of data to an algorithm, and it learns from that data to make predictions or decisions.
So it's like teaching a computer to learn from experience.
Exactly. It's what drives things like personalized recommendations you see on streaming services, or even those fraud detection systems banks use.
Oh, wow. So instead of programming a computer step by step, you're basically giving it the ability to learn and adapt by itself.
That's the idea, and the really exciting part is that there are tools that make working with these complex algorithms way easier than you might think.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, TensorFlow and PyTorch are two great examples.
Okay, I've heard of those.
They're being used everywhere, from research labs to startups.
Wow. So even big companies like Google and Facebook rely on those for their AI projects.
Oh, absolutely.
That's pretty impressive.
Well,
all right, so we've got the basics of ML down. Now let's take things up a notch.
deep learning.
Deep learning sounds pretty intense.
It can be, but it's where the real game-changing breakthroughs are happening.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So deep learning takes machine learning to a whole new level. It uses artificial neural networks to analyze massive amounts of data.
Hold on, neural networks now. Is this where we step into that whole sci-fi robots taking over the world scenario?
Haha. Not quite.
Okay, good.
While artificial neural networks might sound like something out of a movie, they're already powering a ton of applications you use every day.
Really? Like what?
Well, think about facial recognition on your phone, or even those voice assistants you use to control your smart home.
Oh, right.
It's really incredible.
So it's not just about self-driving cars and supercomputers then?
Not at all. Deep learning is making waves in healthcare too, helping diagnose diseases more accurately and even develop new treatments.
Wow. It's also changing how we shop online, personalize our entertainment, and even how we interact with our devices.
It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how this goes way beyond coding.
Absolutely.
It's really changing how we live and work.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about natural language processing.
NLP.
Yes, NLP. It's all about bridging the gap between humans and machines through language.
So it's basically how we get computers to understand us.
You got it.
Like they're learning our language.
Precisely, NLP is used in everything, from those chatbots that can answer your questions to those language translation tools that help us communicate with people around the world.
That's amazing. I'm guessing it goes way beyond just translating words, though, right?
It definitely does. It's about understanding the context, the sentiment, even humor.
Oh, wow. So think about how sophisticated those voice assistants are becoming.
Right. They can understand complex commands and even have conversations that feel surprisingly natural.
That's incredible. It seems like the possibilities with NLP are almost limitless.
They really are, and there are some amazing tools out there.
Like what?
Well, one example is Hugging Face.
Hugging Face.
Yeah, it's a platform that provides access to a huge library of pre-trained NLP models.
Retrain?
Yes, meaning they've already been trained on massive amounts of data.
Oh, that makes sense.
So developers can use them to build really powerful NLP applications without having to start from scratch.
That's like having a huge head start in a race. Okay, so NLP is about understanding human language. What about teaching computers to actually see the world?
Ah, that's where computer vision comes in.
Computer vision.
It's all about enabling computers to interpret and understand visual information from the world, just like we do with our eyes.
So like giving computers a sense of sight.
Precisely, and the applications are just exploding.
I bet.
It's being used in self-driving cars to navigate roads in healthcare, to analyze medical images, and even in manufacturing to spot defects in products.
Oh, I'm seeing a theme here. AI is touching every part of our lives.
It really is, and as these technologies become more and more sophisticated, we need to make sure they're being used ethically and responsibly.
That's a really good point. It's not just about building cool tech, it's about considering the impact it has on society.
Exactly. And that leads us to another important AI skill, generative AI.
Wait, hold on. AI being creative.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Okay, think about this. Imagine an AI that can compose music, write poetry, or create a realistic image just from your description.
You're blowing my mind a little. Are there actual tools that can do that?
There are, and they're getting more and more powerful all the time. Things like ChatGPT and DALL-E are changing how we think about creativity.
So we're not just talking about automating tasks anymore.
Nope.
We're talking about AI that can actually create original content.
Exactly. It's pushing the limits of what we thought was possible. And it's raising some really interesting questions about the future of art creativity and even what it means to be human.
This is a lot to take in.
I know, right?
We've covered machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and now generative AI.
This is a lot.
And I'm already feeling like I need to know more, so much more.
Well, don't worry. We're just getting started in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore each of these skills in even more detail, and we'll talk about the specific tools and techniques you can use to master them.
Perfect.
We'll also discuss how you can start building your AI skill set and get ahead in this incredibly exciting and rapidly evolving field.
Good.
So stay tuned.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
Welcome back. Ready to dive deeper into these essential AI skills?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Great. So let's start by revisiting machine learning, that foundational element.
You're right. We sort of skimmed over some really interesting algorithms like regression and decision trees.
Yeah.
Can we break those down a bit more? Like, what do they actually do?
Sure. So let's take regression. Imagine you're trying to predict house prices based on things like square footage, location, number of bedrooms, the usual suspects.
Yeah.
A regression algorithm can actually analyze historical data to learn the relationships between those features and the final sale price.
So you feed it information about a new house.
Exactly. And it can predict a likely selling price.
So it's all about finding patterns in the data and then using those patterns to make predictions about the future.
You got it. Now, decision trees are a little different. They work by splitting data into smaller and smaller chunks based on certain criteria.
Kind of like a flow chart.
Exactly. Like if a bank is trying to decide whether to approve a loan, a decision tree could analyze things like credit score, income debt level.
To figure out the risk.
Exactly. And then decide whether to approve or deny the loan.
Oh, that's interesting. And remember those tools we talked about, TensorFlow and PyTorch?
Yes.
They provide the framework for actually building and training these ML models.
They do. They're like your virtual workshops for creating intelligent systems.
Speaking of intelligent systems, let's dive into deep learning.
Okay.
We talked about neural networks, but what are they really?
Yeah, they've always seemed a bit mysterious to me. Well, think of them as networks of interconnected nodes. Each node processes information and then passes it along, sort of like links in a chain. This structure mimics the human brain, which allows deep learning models to find those really complex patterns in massive data sets.
So it's like having a network inspired by the brain, sifting through mountains of information to find those hidden connections.
Exactly. And within deep learning, you have specialized architectures like convolutional neural networks, or CNNs for short.
CNN.
They're amazing at image recognition, and they power things like facial recognition on your phone.
Oh, wow.
And then there are recurrent neural networks, or RNNs. They're great at processing sequential data like language.
Ah, so they're used in things like those chatbots we talked about.
Exactly. They're becoming so impressive.
They really are. It's mind-blowing how these complex systems are already impacting our everyday lives.
It is, and it brings us back to natural language processing, NLP.
Right. NLP helping computers understand us, but how do they actually do it?
Yeah, like how does Siri actually know what I'm saying?
Well, it involves a bunch of cool techniques like sentiment analysis.
Sentiment analysis.
Yeah, it basically gauges the emotional tone of a text.
How interesting.
And then there's language modeling, where computers predict the next word in a sentence, just like you and I do naturally.
Right.
So you see, it's not just about translating words.
It's about understanding the nuances of language.
Exactly. And tools like Hugging Face, with its library of pre-trained NLP models, are giving developers even more power to build really sophisticated applications. It's like having this toolbox full of specialized linguistic tools ready to go.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered understanding language.
Yeah.
What about processing visuals? What can you tell us about computer vision?
Computer vision, it's remarkable. It basically gives computers the ability to see and interpret images.
Like we do.
Exactly, which opens up a ton of possibilities.
Well, we talked about self-driving cars and facial recognition. Are there other areas where it's making a big impact?
Oh, absolutely. Tons. Think about healthcare. Computer vision is being used to analyze medical images, which helps doctors detect diseases earlier and with more accuracy.
Oh, wow.
And in retail, it powers visual search engines and helps manage inventory.
So it's like giving computers this whole new sense, enabling them to understand the world visually.
Exactly. It's incredible. As we talk about all these amazing advancements, it's important to remember the ethical side of things, too.
Right. We talked about using these technologies responsibly.
Exactly. And that leads us to generative AI. This field is really exciting because it taps into AI's creative potential.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around AI being creative. What else can it do?
Okay, imagine an AI that can compose music in different styles, write poetry that evokes certain emotions, or even design a logo based on your company's values.
Wow. So we're not just automating tasks, we're actually pushing the boundaries of what's creatively possible.
Precisely. Tools like ChatGPT are changing how we write and communicate, and DALL-E is creating stunning images. It's really blurring the lines between human and machine creativity.
It's making us rethink what it means to be creative.
It really is now, with all this creative potential data, plays a huge role.
Right.
So where does data science fit into all of this?
Yeah, how does it all connect?
Well, think of it this way. AI needs fuel to run, and that fuel is data.
Okay.
Data science is all about taking that data and extracting meaningful insights, uncovering hidden patterns and trends that we might not see otherwise.
So data scientists are like detectives piecing together clues from this massive amount of information.
Exactly, and they use powerful tools like Pandas, a Python library that makes data manipulation and analysis a breeze,
I've heard of that one.
and Tableau, which helps visualize data in a way that's both informative and engaging.
Okay, so we've built our AI models. We've analyzed tons of data. What's the next step?
How do we actually get these models out into the world?
Right, it can't just stay theoretical.
Exactly. That's where AI deployment and optimization come in. It's the bridge between having a brilliant AI idea and actually turning it into a working application.
So it's like launching a product, taking these models, integrating them into apps, making them work seamlessly in the real world.
Precisely. And cloud platforms like AWS and Azure are your launch pads. They provide the infrastructure and services to make AI solutions accessible.
It sounds pretty complex.
It can be, but the results are worth it, and you can't forget about optimization.
Oh, really?
Making sure your AI models are running smoothly and efficiently, like a well-oiled machine.
Of course. So we've covered deployment optimization. Anything else we need to know?
Well, there's one more skill that deserves a spotlight: reinforcement learning.
Oh, right. We touched on that earlier, but how does it actually work?
So imagine an AI agent trying to navigate a maze.
Okay.
It tries different paths, gets rewards for correct moves, and penalties for wrong ones.
Interesting.
And over time, it learns to choose the most efficient path to reach its goal.
So it's constantly learning and adapting based on the feedback it receives.
Exactly. And this has powerful applications. Think about robots learning complex tasks in manufacturing or developing smarter AI opponents in video games.
Oh, wow.
It's all about building AI that can continuously learn and adapt to new challenges.
This has been an amazing journey through the core skills that are shaping the future of AI. I'm feeling inspired, but also a little overwhelmed.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. So what's next?
Don't worry, in the final part of our deep dive, we'll get practical, we'll explore specific resources and learning paths to help you master these skills.
Okay.
And we'll talk about how you can launch your own AI journey and explore the amazing career opportunities out there.
Perfect. I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
All right. Welcome back to the final part of our AI skills deep dive. We've talked about the what and the how of AI, but now let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually learn these skills and put them into practice?
Well, first things first, you've got to figure out what really gets you fired up about AI. What's your passion?
Yeah, because there's a lot out there.
Exactly. Are you interested in the hardcore coding side of AI algorithms? Or maybe you see yourself designing user-friendly AI interfaces. Or perhaps you're all about applying AI to a specific field like healthcare or finance.
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming with so many options.
It's like standing at the bottom of this massive mountain and trying to figure out which path to take to the top.
That's a great analogy.
Right, but just like climbing a mountain, you got to start with that first step. And the good news is there are some amazing resources out there to help guide you.
Like what?
Well, online learning platforms like Coursera, edX, Udemy,
Yeah, I've heard of those.
they offer fantastic AI courses designed for all skill levels, from beginners to more experienced folks.
So whether you're a complete newbie or you've already got some coding experience under your belt, there's a course out there to help you reach the AI summit.
Absolutely. And a lot of these courses even offer hands-on projects, which are crucial for really solidifying what you've learned.
Oh, that's much better than just passively watching videos.
It is. You get to actually build things, experiment, put your knowledge into practice.
Like a virtual sandbox to play in and test out your skills.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, Try things, make mistakes. That's how you learn and grow.
Right. And speaking of learning and growing, connecting with the AI community can be a game changer.
Huge help.
It's like having a team of fellow climbers to support you on that ascent up the mountain.
Absolutely.
So where can people find these AI communities?
Oh, tons of places. Reddit has some dedicated subreddits for different AI topics where you can ask questions, share resources, have discussions.
Oh, that's cool.
LinkedIn is fantastic for connecting with professionals in the AI field and seeing how AI is being applied in the real world. And if you're feeling competitive, Kaggle hosts these data science competitions that are a really fun way to learn and collaborate with others.
Wow, the AI community seems super supportive.
It is.
But how do you stay on top of all the latest developments with AI changing so fast?
It's all about staying curious, subscribing to AI newsletters, following industry leaders on social media, even listening to podcasts like this one.
Right, keeping your finger on the pulse.
Exactly. The field is constantly evolving, so continuous learning is key.
The learning never really stops in the world of AI.
It doesn't, but that's what makes it so exciting.
Okay, true. So let's talk about career paths. What kind of doors can open up for someone who has these sought-after AI skills?
The opportunities are huge, and they're growing all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We're seeing a huge demand for machine learning engineers, data scientists, NLP specialists, computer vision engineers, AI ethicists, just to name a few.
So these aren't just like futuristic jobs. We're talking about real in-demand roles right now.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not limited to just the tech industry.
I know.
Healthcare, finance, retail, entertainment, AI is transforming pretty much every sector.
Wow.
Skilled professionals are needed everywhere.
That's incredible. But I imagine trying to break into a new field like this can feel pretty daunting.
It can.
Any advice for someone just starting their AI journey?
Don't be intimidated by how big the field is. Start by focusing on one specific area that you're really passionate about, and then break it down into smaller steps.
Okay.
Take a coursework on a small project. Join a community. Every step forward, no matter how small, builds momentum.
So it's about taking action and embracing the learning process.
Exactly. And remember, you don't need to be a coding genius to make a real impact in the AI world.
Right.
There are roles for designers, communicators, strategists, policymakers. The key is to find where your passions and skills align with the incredible potential of AI.
I love that. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap up this deep dive?
Stay curious. Embrace the challenges and never stop exploring the future of AI is being written right now. And it's waiting for people like you to step up and contribute your unique talents and perspectives.
That's a great message to end on. We've explored the why, the what, and the how of these essential AI skills, and now it's your turn to take the reins and help shape the future with AI. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and keep rethinking the possibilities.